Hello team, and welcome to my Unit 8 Analytic Research Proposal presentation over my business challenge. So, what is my business challenge exactly? My business challenge is that there is a teacher shortage in Oklahoma, and this is due to not enough applicants. This is also due to a lack of incentive that is offered for being a teacher. Teachers not only teach, but they also mentor and guide students in life. Oklahoma is ranked one of the lowest stats in teacher pay, averaging around $40,000 statewide. This isn't enough for the work reward scenario and does not provide enough incentive to do the job. It does not attract younger applicants to the field. Teachers rather must be compassionate about what they do or they will not be happy. So let's take a deeper look into the business challenge. In this slide, we go over the who, what, when, where, and why. The who, what, where, when, and why categories are a very important piece to the business challenge. The 5 W's give detailed instruction regarding the basics of the PowerPoint presentation in the business challenge. These key foundations are the base of my presentation. The very first thing is who we are talking about, and that is teachers at the K through 12 level. Teachers at the K through 12 level are often underpaid and have to do a lot of work that is very taxing physically and mentally, which makes it less desirable for a degree in education. The next aspect, what we were talking about, is that the shortage of Oklahoma teachers that apply. There are 2 routes you can take to become a teacher. You can be certified through a college institution, or you can be alternatively certified teacher. Students that decide to become an Oklahoma teacher must pass all of their college courses and be a student teacher for some years. To be alternatively certified like myself, all you need is a bachelor's degree and to pass 2 tests. It used to be 3, but now you only have to take 2 tests. The governor switched that requirement due to the teacher shortage, so that way it would be easier for teachers to obtain jobs. There was also a sharp decline after 2020 because of COVID-19. There was an increase in online teaching jobs due to the nationwide pandemic. This ruined the public school incentive to become an in-person school teacher. The Oklahoma State Department of Education should reconsider their incentives at the state level to try to get more teachers applied. Lack of incentives such as pay, retirement, benefits, and mental health taxing the body, being a school teacher is a hard pathway to consider now. So, in this slide are my analytics team members. So, these are the team members that I need on board with the business challenge. The first one that can help me is the governor. The governor is the one who manages the state's K through 12 system and overviews decision making made by the State Department. As stated before, the governor has already implemented a change to requirements of alternatively certified teachers, taking away 1 test requirement out of 3. The next person that would be beneficial would be the Oklahoma State Department of Education. They have control over the state's K through 12 programs and have a significant impact on class material. Students are learning in money allocated to teachers and school systems. The next person would be the state superintendent. The state superintendent is the person who gives advice and recommends to the State Department of Education, which plays a massive role in decision making, and they get elected every 4 years by voters in the state. The next would be the state education boards. These are the people who oversee state financials and have access to data analytics of teacher pay, and money. 6 individuals appointed by the governor assist the superintendent to make decisions. And the last person needed on the team is an HR practitioner. They are important because, according to Greg Learning 2018, HR practitioners can help understand what HR metrics are available across multiple functional areas. So, now, let's talk about the testable hypothesis needed in the data set. The very first hypothesis I want to test is if Oklahoma teachers get paid more, then they are more likely to work as a teacher. The data sources needed for this: HR maintains salary and pay data for all employees. The next is the function that it needs. So we compare salaries from the years 2014 through 2018. The data type on this is a ratio type. And the proposed inferential statistical test is regression. It was actually in decline. The next hypothesis I would like to test is if Oklahoma teachers are engaged with the community, then they will receive more applicants. The variables needed to test this are number of applicants per year and the measure of community engagement. The variable type in this would be turnover and retention. And then the data source is the Oklahoma State Department of Education runs a study of community existing data engagement with sectors. The function in this would be comparing teacher engagement in the community versus in the non-community. This data type is also a ratio, and the proposed inferential statistics test is regression. The next hypothesis I'd like to test is if the Oklahoma State Department of Education lessens requirements for applicants, then teachers will be more likely to attain new teachers. So getting new teachers in to the public educator system of Oklahoma. The variable needed to test this is yearly hiring statistics for applicants and yearly requirement statistics. The data source for this is Oklahoma State Department of Education maintains data for yearly testing results. And this is existing data already. The function is comparing the Oklahoma State Department passing ratio to non-passing for the OSAT and the OGIT, the two main requirements in testing requirements for passing Oklahoma teacher certifications. The data type is also ratio, and it is regression. And the last hypothesis tested, if the Oklahoma State Department of Education receives more applicants, then they will be able to retain workers, so keeping the workers in the school system. The variable needed to test this is yearly hiring statistics for applicants, and the second is yearly requirement statistics. The data source for this is Oklahoma State Department maintains data for applicants and number of applicants hired. The function for this is comparing applicants to turnover ratio in Oklahoma public schools all across the board. The data type is also going to be ratio, and it is actually regression as well. So, here's the last part of my project. The conclusion is now, whenever we're talking about conclusion, we want to get an overall sense of exactly what we're talking about regarding the problem. So we know the problem is the teacher shortages and the lack of incentive. So if there was more incentive to being a school teacher, such as more pay, more benefits, then there would be more people willing to be in the educator system. The next part, less people are willing to study education. Now, if we increase the incentive or the reward, then more people will be willing to study education and go through that pathway of being a school teacher, which is very important. The retention rate would actually increase within institutions in public school systems because the incentive is better and more people would be more likely to stay within their current job instead of leave and either take a higher paying job or take one with less ability, responsibility, and is less taxing on their mental health. So, in the whole project, the overall scope, the more incentives, the more employed teachers in the K through 12 system. So, due to this, there is a national-wide teacher shortage also, and there's also one in the state of Oklahoma. So, if we all come together and all of the analytical members could come together, then we could achieve a possible solution for there being more teachers, more incentives in the public educator system. That would also help people by the students learning more and many other institutions would benefit from having better school teachers. So, I hope you enjoyed listening to my project, and I wish that we could get a consensus and we could get things solved very quickly and very easy within the next few years, so that way there doesn't have to be the problem of teacher shortages. So, in my own personal experience, there has been many teachers in our school system that are leaving. So the retention rate is really low because teachers end up leaving because they are happy and then they go find a new job. For instance, one of my teachers across the hallway is a really nice lady, and she has been in the school system for 5 years. So in 5 years, she hasn't wanted to leave, or she's always been happy. The morale's always been good, and she has never wanted to leave. But now all of a sudden, she wants to leave because she doesn't feel like she's being treated right. She feels like it's just too much for not enough pay, not enough benefit. So she's leaving. And that is just one example of many teachers across the state of Oklahoma that the whole business challenge is about. So not only is the challenge of the teacher shortage and getting them to apply through other incentives, but it's also the retention rate as well. So you want to keep the retention rate good. You want to keep it high. And whenever we keep the retention rate high, then more people are going to stay in your system, and then you can build off of that teacher every single year and build a successful culture in HR. Not to mention that anytime a new teacher comes in, then HR goes crazy because all the paperwork, all the requirements, things like that. So that would be another benefit to the teacher shortage and another incentive for HR to have less work cut out for them, if you will. So I hope you enjoyed my project. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, and I am signing off.